Emma finds her missing wedding ring in a local pawn shop, reclaiming a lost piece of her past. However, when the shop owner tells her the ring was sold, Emma is shocked and calls 911. "Hey lady, what are you doing?" the guy cried out as Emma grabbed her phone and dialed 911. She was looking at the ring, the look in her eye dazed. She really couldn't believe they would do something like that to her, and to keep it a secret for 3 years too. It was theft, and Emma knew that talking to them first wouldn't bring her anywhere. She knew she needed to get police involved to make her case. The pawn shop owner asked her what she was doing, and she explained she was calling the cops. Emma notices the pawn shop owner's apprehension about reporting a theft, but the dispatcher informs her that a ring was stolen. But who had stolen the ring from Emma? Why was the pawn shop owner so apprehensive of her calling the police? And most importantly, how would Emma get revenge on the thief? But before we start, smash the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss any of our upcoming stories. It had been nearly 3 whole years since the loss of Emma's wedding ring. Emma and her husband had only been married for a few months when the ring appeared to be lost. Emma remembered having searched high and low for the little golden band, but even after turning her home upside down, it remained nowhere to be found. Emma had initially blamed herself for the theft of a watch before she blamed anyone else. Maybe it had slipped of her fingers. Maybe it had gone down the drain during a shower, and maybe it had gone down the garbage disposal after washing her hands. However, she discovered that she was wrong and couldn't believe who had done it. She eventually gave up on her search, believing it would return if meant for her. Her husband, Mark, had bought her a new ring for their anniversary, but it never felt the same. Emma and Mark's anniversary is approaching, and she knew he was thinking about getting a new watch. She knew what he had been looking for, and Emma had been hoping to surprise him with getting one herself. She visits a local pawn shop to find a treasure. Her nose was against the window as soon as she saw it. "I can't believe it. My heart is and will always be yours," Emma muttered, the tears pooling in her eyes. It was a quote from one of her favorite Jane Austen novels, Sense and Sensibility. She was sure that it could no longer be a coincidence. This had to be her ring. With that knowledge, she rushes inside the pawn shop to take a closer look at the ring. "Hi, could I please take a closer look at the ring in the display case?" The pawn shop owner carefully grabbed the ring from the display case and handed it to Emma, who was visibly anxious. Emma examined the ring closely and confirmed it was indeed her old wedding band. She turned it over, tracing the engraving with her thumb. "It really is mine." The memories of her wedding day flooded back, making her grip the ring even tighter. Emma was visibly anxious and asked the owner how the ring ended up in his shop. The owner seemed puzzled and needed to check his records. As she waited, her mind raced with questions, and the ticking of a nearby clock seemed to heighten her anxiety. The pawn shop owner emerged from the back room, holding a worn ledger book. He explained that the ring had been sold to him only a month ago, but the seller's identity was not recorded. Emma felt a mix of frustration and curiosity, pressing the owner for more details about the transaction. Emma revealed that the ring was her stolen wedding ring, missing for nearly 3 years. She confessed that she thought it was lost forever, and she needed to know who took it. The owner, looking sympathetic, agreed to help and claimed his innocence. Emma informed him that the theft had been reported years ago and was part of an ongoing investigation. The owner agreed to provide any security footage, as he had cameras in the shop. He offered to get the footage from when the ring was sold. Emma felt a wave of gratitude and agreed to help. The owner disappeared into the back again, leaving Emma alone with her thoughts. Emma dialed 911, explaining that she had just found her stolen wedding ring in a pawn shop after it had been missing for nearly 3 years. The dispatcher assured her that officers were on their way. After hanging up, Emma anxiously paced the shop, her mind racing and the minutes feeling like hours as she awaited their arrival. The pawn shop owner, trying to comfort her, offered a seat and water, but Emma was too restless to sit still. She repeatedly glanced at the door, imagining how the police investigation might unfold, her emotions swinging between hope and fear. Finally, the sound of approaching sirens broke the tension. Emma's heart skipped as the police arrived. The police officers entered the pawn shop, introduced themselves, and began questioning the owner about the stolen ring. The owner, nervous, explained that Emma had found her stolen ring there and showed the officers the ledger. The officers then reviewed the security footage, which showed a person selling the ring a month ago. When the police zoomed in on the figure, they asked Emma if she recognized them. To her shock, she realized it was her mother-in-law, Claire. Emma, heartbroken, confirmed the identity, struggling with feelings of betrayal. The police took detailed notes, understanding the emotional weight of the situation for Emma and her husband. Emma, grateful for their support, expressed her desire to find the truth. As they left, the officers promised to get to the bottom of the case. Emma returned home, overwhelmed with emotions, and immediately told her husband, Mark, about the day's events. She explained how she had found her stolen wedding ring and the shocking discovery that his mother, Claire, was involved. Mark was stunned, expressing disbelief and anger over the betrayal, pulling Emma into a comforting hug and assuring her they would get through it together. They discussed their next steps, debating whether to confront Claire themselves or let the police handle it. Mark suggested they talk to her first and see if she would admit to it, while Emma agreed, feeling determined. That evening, Emma received a call from the police confirming they had enough evidence to move forward. After hanging up, Emma turned to Mark. Emma and Mark met with the police at the station to share their plan of confronting Claire themselves. Emma promised that if Claire lied or refused to cooperate, they would call the police immediately. The officers, slightly reassured, agreed to be on standby. After thanking them, Emma and Mark left the station, ready to face the difficult confrontation ahead. Mark and Emma drove to his parents' home, both quiet and lost in thought. When they arrived, Claire greeted them, her eyes locking onto Emma's ring with visible nervousness. As they stepped inside, Mark started the conversation, giving Claire a chance to explain. "Emma found her wedding ring," he said gently, leaving space for Claire to respond. Claire's composure broke when Mark mentioned the security footage. She burst into tears, confessing she had taken the ring out of jealousy. "I was jealous of your relationship," Claire admitted, ashamed. "I felt like I was losing Mark, and I acted out of anger." Mark, stunned, listened quietly, while Emma felt a mix of anger and sympathy. Emma deeply hurt, and both Emma and Mark felt the emotional impact of her betrayal. Claire, filled with remorse, apologized repeatedly, understanding the pain her actions had caused. Emma decided to forgive Claire, but emphasized that rebuilding trust would take time. Claire, emotional and regretful, accepted this as Emma and Mark focused on repairing their relationship. Together, they promised to always be honest and supportive. The police returned Emma's ring, officially closing the case. Emma, filled with joy and relief, slipped it back on. Mark hugged her tightly, and together they looked forward to moving on, leaving the pain of the past behind. Emma and Mark organized a small celebration to honor the return of the ring and the closure of their difficult experience. They invited close friends and family for an intimate gathering at their home. "It's a fresh start," Emma said, as she set up flowers and candles, symbolizing a new chapter. Mark agreed, feeling the warmth of their renewed happiness. The celebration was joyful, filled with love, laughter, and a sense of new beginnings. Emma proudly wore her wedding ring again. With their bond stronger than ever, Emma and Mark looked to the future with confidence and love.